Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. We have been so blessed on our journey as we've tried to rewild ourselves, become more DIY people who are more self-sufficient, and it has been a huge blessing. Now, periodically over the years, people see stuff we're doing, see stuff we're growing, and they want in on the action. A lot of people have got in on the action over the years. A lot of people give me reports back of stuff they got back from me that they just absolutely love. It's changed their life for the better. We're happy to participate in that. And in this video, I'm about to list a bunch of stuff, at least a few things in our Etsy store. And there's gonna be a link in the description of the pinned comment, and I want to put that live right before I release this, so that way you guys have the first dibs, as opposed to just kind of everyone out there shopping online who might come across it. I wanna give you guys the first dibs. Not that you have to. But if any of these things interest you, if any of the stuff we're going to feature in this video is up your alley and something you want to check out, feel free. And then also, we don't charge extra for shipping, so that's figured into it. A lot of times I'll find a deal and be like, oh, that's awesome. And they're like, hey, 20 bucks for shipping. I'm like, well, that's not a deal. You know, I just like to include it in there. It's part of what we can do from home together as a family to help take care of the financial needs for our family, a time to have an opportunity to have something that's comparable at least to what a lot of other people are offering, but it gives you guys a chance to connect with us in a different way by having pretty much the babies of the plants that we're growing here. So check this out. Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. Today is a very special time of year because it's a time that so many things are reproducing. The ones I'm with right here are the Egyptian walking onions. Not only do they make an onion at the bottom, and not only do they have some nice leaves that are very tasty, kind of like a green onion, you know, you can use them. I love them fresh, and I love them dried as well. They make a wonderful seasoning, like a spice. But they also have these little bulbils here, which is how you get the next generation. These things are amazing. And we often will collect the extra ones because we don't need all the ones that are produced here and put them in our Etsy shop. And the problem with that is I have a hard time charging what some of the people do on there, but if I drop the price too low, our viewers won't even get an opportunity because they'll sell out so quickly. So I've got a couple things we're going to list in our Etsy shop. I'm going to try to make them live right before I make this video live so you guys get first dibs. And if there's anything in this video that you guys want to check out or want to order, they'll go quick. So I'm going to spend some time harvesting today, and I'll also include some footage from some videos featuring these plants because these things are amazing. These have been over in a dry section where they didn't get much water this year, but they did make some wonderful bulbils, and yeah, each one of these is a future plant, which is really awesome. I'll roll some footage from the Egyptian walking onion video, and then we'll come back and talk about these. Alright guys, Papa Pepper here today on the Abundant Harvest Homestead, and I'm going to be talking to you about tree onions, also known as Egyptian walking onions. They are one of my favorite garden plants. They may not be in my famed top 3, but if you want an easy way to have onions for years and years, even decades to come, these onions are a way to go. They are so versatile and provide you with so many different options. Plus, they take care of themselves year after year. So first thing I'm going to get with you is plant structure. Down at the bottom they have a shallot-like bulb, and then they'll grow up a number of leaves like this. The leaves are hollow, and this one here's got 2 that are wilting and then 3 more that are coming up in the middle. Eventually they'll start setting tiny little bulblets. So these, I mean, this one's bigger than the tip of my thumb, are actually baby little onions. And eventually at the end of these hollow stems they get so heavy that they'll kind of tip back to the ground, like this cluster here. So in this cluster, it's actually 2 clusters off the same one, but I'm gonna guess there's over 25 tiny little bulbs. So down there under the surface at the end of that stem is something that looks like this. Looks like a nice shallot. Okay, comes up and starts shooting up its leaves. Well, if you leave this in the soil, it'll reproduce too, and it'll make more, kind of like a garlic clove would, and it'll come back in force the next year. So you have two ways of propagation. Very cool. And like I said, if you leave it, it'll just take care of, you know, reproducing itself for years to come. So here we have the dill going to seed, and I like the fact that even a big tall dill plant, you can snip off smaller sections while it still is allowed to go to seed. We've been saving our own dill seed for years here, and that's one that I like to succession sow, because if I plant them all at once and they go through their life cycle and they're done now, then everything that comes in the future, like we like pickled cucumbers as pickles, we like pickled noodle beans, we like pickled snake gourds, and we like some dill in there with those often. So I like to succession sow it, so I've got a recurring harvest to use as we put up our food. I'm actually planting some more soon, but there's also a lot of this that's ready to harvest right now, and I love just having our own. One of the goals that we have here too, I know this is kind of a promo video for some stuff we sell in our shop, but my goal is that if you buy something from us once, you'll never need to buy it again. The stuff that we sell is stuff that we've acquired years ago and then have never bought since, because they're very easy to save your own seed or save your own bulbils and then have them for years and years and years to come. And then the plants that are doing well are the ones you're saving seeds for. You're getting a seed that's better suited for your growing zone and your temperatures, your frost dates, you know, your rainfall, whatever ones do the best. If you're saving the seeds from that, you get them better and better each year for your growing zone. So that's one reason I like saving our own seeds. Plus, it's very cost effective to buy once and never need to buy again. And for these ones, you know, some of them are brown with green ones still in the middle. Those aren't quite ready, but when you've got them where they're all completely brown, that's what I like to grab off. And if I take off the head, you know, this is all one plant here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 large seed heads, and then there's a couple more. So if I take this off, then all that energy can be put into the rest of them. And these seeds can be stored for later. I like to make sure they're perfectly dry, and then I like to store them in a cool place away from sunlight, because moisture and sunlight and heat will make your seeds less viable. And these guys just make it so easy to harvest too. I'll take these and then probably in a large bowl, just kind of get them all loose. But that's a lot of dill seed. I was just watching a bird over here, and it was trying to pick some of these peas out of these pea pods. So peas are one too that I like, because there's so many times of the year you can grow them. Often they don't do good in the heat of summer here in, you know, the mid-south, but you can plant a really early crop in the spring, then you can get a fall crop too, and then even for my spring crop, I almost call it a late winter crop. I've actually planted my seeds before in December here, zone 6B, 7A, and then they came up at about the end of February, I think, and my thought was I wanted to get them in as early as possible. But then I'm like, you know what? The peas know. Like these peas right now, they're dry. So right now is when they would fall to the ground. And when they're able to sprout and things are right, they know when the, you know, conditions are ready for them to sprout. I plan on sowing a good fall crop this year, but this is the one that we just harvested a bunch of, and I'm definitely going to have extra. So if you're looking for a fall crop of peas, we're going to offer those up as well. And even with some of these other things, like the wild garlic and the Egyptian walking onions, a lot of times the way that I garden is kind of the way that things naturally would in creation, right? When are those bulbils going to hit the ground? Well, those plants are going to dry up now, they're going to tip down, and they're going to start doing some stuff right now. So I'll plant them now. One of those wild garlic bulbils is going to hit the ground. For them, probably another 3 weeks or so. Okay, within the next month, they're going to tip over, and they're going to start the next generation. So that's what I like to do. In fact, I'm going to hit the hill and show you guys some of these at the edge of the woods. But since I've been harvesting them, they're doing much better, because where they're doing good, I like to take those bulbils and spread them out. So rather than having like 100 land in one spot, they're spread out a little bit, and they're bringing forth quite a bit of a harvest, even a better harvest than when I first came to this area because of my interaction with them. I'll roll a little bit of footage for you of us harvesting some, and we were making garlic honey with them. I'm really looking forward to that again, but check them out, and I'm amazed at this plant. Guys, part of life being crazy around here is stuff like this. This is all fresh garlic, straight from the woods, completely shelled. The 3-year-old, little buddy pepper, Bugger, and I went out to the woods and just got this. This is amazing, and we're gonna have a wonderful, wonderful project with this, but that is crazy. Look how much garlic. So right behind me in the woods here is where these things actually grow. I'm not sure if they're naturalized here, if they're escapees from someone's ancient garden, or if they're actually something that's native to this area. But each one of the cloves will sit there and shoot up a nice long stem that'll eventually turn into this. Eventually they'll get their little guys. This is all from one bulb here. So from that one bulb, we now have 7 of these, and it also created all this. So check this out if I open it up. If I open that up, there is just a pile of these baby bulbils. So when I mentioned that they're doing better out here and there's a lot more than when we first started harvesting them 4 years ago, it's not hard to understand that really if you look at just even the math here. If you look here, I'm guessing there's about 50. So whenever we find somewhere that they're growing good and we harvest them, we'll take a handful of these and just cast them out into the woods and make sure that we have that next generation kind of being seeded too. Some of these I'm going to keep and scatter on our land, but I'll show you here with a wild one. See this bugger? Here is where one's growing. If I pull up, we get the whole thing, okay? On this end is where we have all those little bulbils for the next year. So if I crunch these up, you know, here's 30 or 40 of them. And they're just here. And ensuring the next generation's there is just as easy as they grew good here, we'll chuck them there. Now down here is where we have the rest of it. And if I open it up, these aren't quite as big as your, garlics from the store or something like that. But if you look at it here, we've got 6 little bulbs. They're a little dirty, but if you rub them a little bit, that dirt and that outer shell comes off. There you go. So now we have our 6 nice rosy red bulbs. And if I rub them just a little bit more, what I found with these guys, a lot of times the outer shells will actually just peel off too. I can hear them going. But a lot of times harvesting garlic or, cleaning up the cloves is a little more work than that. See, this one popped out already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna collect a bunch of the bulbs, rub them off, get all the dirt and stuff off. When I get them home, rub them a little more, let them all peel down, give them a wash, put them in some jars and go from there. Again, that video I made last year goes in depth into a lot of this. You can check it out if you want. But to me, it's not as much effort to really get them out of their shells either to have them available. You can see half and half there. So while they may be smaller, the work investment in growing them is much less. The availability of them is incredible. And Bugger and I are just gonna head off here and get some done, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Around our part of the Ozarks, this is something I encountered years ago. I thought maybe it was just this area, but driving around, I can see these too. So this is actually probably 34 inches tall, maybe more. And up here is the bulbils for this wild garlic. Down here, I think it's normally end of June, beginning of July. You can often just grab the stem and pull carefully. Boom. And have that whole thing come up. Now I understand, this does not look impressive compared to store-bought garlic. I get that. This is wild. This is uncultivated. Okay, but look at this. Then if I break the stem off, okay, or break these off the stem, I've got these cloves here. Looks like maybe 6 or 8 formed cloves. See that there? See? Those look pretty nice. And then, watch this. This is my favorite part. If I rub them between my fingers a little bit, you saw them a second ago, I'm just rubbing them a little bit. What starts to happen is they jump right out of their skin. Okay, do you see that? They jumped right out of their skin. And to me, compared to how a lot of garlics have to be, you know, peeled, that makes it really easy. These other ones aren't coming yet, but what I like to do is just soak them in some water and then just kind of rub my hands together in them underwater and just kind of like grinding them up, but you're not really hurting them, you know, it's just the palm of your hand. Boom, there's another one. I love that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you know, all these feet away, you have this. This is the bulbil. This is, I mean, those ones there will regrow if they stay in the ground. But here you have all sorts of little bulbils. And these I like to scatter wherever I'm picking them and then make sure that there's more there in the future, but I also do collect some. This is your opportunity to grow some of your own. But did you see how easy that was? That's why I love them. And I'll just sit there like that, fill a jar with some, and then pour honey over it and let that sit there for like 2 months. Absolutely amazing stuff. In fact, we're out now. I wish I would have had some the other day. My throat was really sore. I was dealing with some stuff, and I'm like, I wish I had garlic honey. So now's my chance to make some. Here's a pile of ones we got clean. I mean, look at some of those. Let's see. Yeah, those are pretty decent size. Now there is a lot of smaller ones, I get that. I'm actually going to add some of these to some snake gourds I'm going to pickle. Here's one of the biggest ones. Not bad for wild. These are some of those bulbils, and as you can see there's a variety of sizes and colors, and I like mixing them up too. If I'm going to put them somewhere, that way you guys get a variety. They're all basically the same, but there are, you know, differences. Some are way more purple, some are more pink. So I've got these bulbils, and I'll make some more as well. And then I still have these to finish working through. I got them in some water, just soaking to make the skins loosen up a little more. Bugger and Monster Truck helped me pretty well with that, but I'm going to put some of these in a jar right now and cover them in honey and start that process. So I didn't fill this up all the way, and it's going to take a bit for it to work its way through. Also, when I put a lid on it, I don't seal it tight because it kind of bubbles quite a bit and some pressure can build up. So I want to keep things out of it, but I want to give it time to work its magic and then be a super tasty. I mean, the children will eat the raw garlic cloves once they're completely infused with honey. But it's a great immune system booster, so we really enjoy having about 4 jars of these around a year. Another one that we have that's a really cool local one is the Ozark nest egg gourds. Now they vary in shape. These are a little more squashed and round, kind of, you know, some of them are more like guinea eggs. Some of them almost grow like goose eggs, but they're a wild native gourd here that we have gone and foraged from the wild, grown on our own property. In fact, that's what that is there. That's Ozark nest egg gourds. They grew there last year. These are the babies from it. And they're growing again. They reseeded themselves. But we went on a really cool scavenger hunt in the wild. I'm going to include some of that footage in a minute. And what we like to do is grow them and then put them in our chicken nesting boxes to encourage them to lay there. So it's kind of a cool way to grow your own, you know, nest eggs. your little fake eggs to put in there. But yeah, the Ozark nest egg gourd, really cool, and we definitely have some of these extra and available. I know a lot of people have liked them in the past. So check out how much fun we had finding these things. So for all of you who've watched this much of the video, thank you very much. If you're interested in any of this, please check the pinned comment or the video description. In times past, these things sell out rather quickly. So if you have a desire and if you're able to afford it, if you're not able to afford it, don't. But if these are things you have on your wish list, things that seem like stuff you would want and you have the finances available, now's a good time if you want to source them from us. We appreciate everyone watching our videos. We appreciate the abundant harvest we get here and being able to share, and that people do choose periodically to buy stuff from us. It's a blessing. So I'll have a couple different things listed in our Etsy store. Probably this fall we'll have even more as more seed harvests come in. But thank you all. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Papa out.